Manx Radio TT 365, the best biking station in the world.
Let's talk about Silverstone, the core, the track at Silverstone. How does it rate for you? Forget the fact that it's up the road half an hour and it's in the UK and you're obviously born just down the road. Forget that. How does it rate as a circuit compared to all the other GP circuits that you ride on?
I really like it because it is so completely different to anything else that we ride. Because of the nature of the track, it's so fast and flowing. It actually creates really good racing because a lot of it is about slipstream, and there isn't actually a lot of, without being rude, but there's not technicality or technical corners to actually differentiate the riders. A lot of it is just wide open, and unfortunately everybody can twist the throttle around to 100%. So, but apart from that, it is a really, really enjoyable track. I went up there a couple of weeks ago, and they've resurfaced just at the end of Brooklyn Straight, and then also coming around Woodcut. And it's loads better than it was before. Before it was like really bumpy, really slippery, and now it's just like billiard board and a lot of grip. So I think lap times will drop again. We'll just see what it's like. Going down the back straight, hanger on a 600, braking, going back 2 gears and flicking it into Stowe. Makes your eyes go wide open each lap.
It's entitled "In Pursuit of Perfection." This idea first started when, Peter?
Well, the title comes from, in fact, Dad's biography, which he wrote back in the 80s. But when Dad was 80 years old in 2003, a journalist, Mick Willett, wanted to interview him for a feature piece in a magazine. Mick, as you know, is an ex-editor of some of the leading publications during the 50s, 60s, and a leading journalist. Mick was interviewing. We said we'd like to record this record 2 days of interviews, so on video. So we did that. We have 11 hours of recorded interviews, and Dad recalled, obviously, his fairly extensive career, his racing career, from first riding a bike, and he used to sort of almost have to hide his bike away, so his mum and dad didn't know. And then through his army career and into racing, obviously couldn't race during the war, but took it up pretty soon afterwards after trials riding reasonably successfully. So it's a complete story. It was on video, and we spent, I guess, could say we spent the last 9 years collecting all the archive and pictures to go with it. But there's been, yes, a accumulation of archive, video, film archive, and a lot of lovely still photographs, which Morton's have helped us a lot with that, and which is the old Motorcycle News archive, and goes right back to 1907, their archive, fantastic. And also Island Photographics and other private individuals who've, so some of the stills are great, like when he was in Australia, we didn't have any video from his Australian tour and the South African tour, so be able to fill the story in. But it's very much, the video is we're quite pleased with that. There's some aerial of, one of my favourite bits is aerial photography from 1954. So you see these fantastic cameras that North One use now, them multi-100,000-pound rigs, which, but this was a guy hanging out of a fixed wing, no helicopters, really? Guy hanging out of a fixed wing aircraft at well above the circuit, tracking them through the lovely S's at Assen at 140 mile an hour on the Gilera in 1954. So that's a nice piece. It's in black and white, but there's some very early colour, some very nice colour, and yes, from sort of BP and Castrol archives and other stuff. So it's been fun making it.
Brendan, let's take us back to the start of your career in America. How did it start, and at what point did you decide to come over to Europe?
Actually, I didn't start racing until I was 21, and I didn't really start riding motorcycles until I was like around 19 or 20. And I decided I was starting to ride like a little bit of an idiot on the street, doing some stupid things with my friends. So I wanted to start doing track days. Just happened to meet a guy who was selling some bodywork for my bike, and he convinced me to start racing instead. So I hadn't even done a track day. I just picked up racing, and everything kind of snowballed from there. In 2007, I was actually in a car accident, and I broke my neck, and I was laid up for quite a while. When you kind of do that, have that kind of injury, you kind of, or at least I kind of reevaluated like what I had done so far in my life, and I wanted to kind of put my bucket list together. and TT was on the top of the bucket list. So I pretty much worked from that point on to get here, and I, from 2007 to 2010 was that's all I focused on, was doing what I had to do to get my entry into the TT.
It's not an event that would be at the top of a lot of overseas riders' lists. Where did the inspiration come from?
Honestly, I just saw it on a video and I was like, I have to do that. It was just it's one of those places where you watch it and you're just in awe of what people do around here. So I wanted to be. I'm always one of those people that likes to be involved rather than sit on the sidelines and watch. When I came here in '08 to work for the team, it was just like, it was so frustrating that I couldn't be out there. Like, I had a great time, working and learning everything I could, but not being out there was just as frustrating.
What about when you're hey Charlie, hey Bradley, this is from a message from John McCulloch. Question for Bradley. Would you like to be Ross's teammate next year, as it was rumoured? Judging by Stoner's exit, this will probably not happen now, though.
Wow, I can't really think of a better person to be a teammate to, especially if you're going to be in your rookie year, especially with the experience that Rossi's had, to have that sort of data available to you to scan through and have a look would definitely help a lot. But as we said, with Stoner's exit now, it's not looking very likely. MotoGP is quite interesting at the moment. We're still waiting for everyone to slot into their seats, and it's amazing how hush hush everything's been kept. I've tried to keeping my ear to the ground to see who will be my teammate next year, and there's nothing coming out. So we'll have to wait and see, and I suppose whoever it is, I got to try and beat. So there we go.
Bit of a bombshell, Casey's announcement, retirement.
Definitely, but I was one that saw it coming. Whether it was going to be, I didn't think it would be this year. I thought he was going to wait another year. But it's the right time. The guy's been racing in, Grand Prix since, I think, 15, 16 years old. He's done his, a fair few years now in Grand Prix. Won his world titles, got all of his podiums, all his race wins, in 125s, 250s, and now in MotoGP. And he's content with what he's achieved in life, and when that's you come to that point, then it's time to call it a day.
Do you think he'll go down in MotoGP history as one of the greatest riders of all time?
I think he deserves to. Whether anyone's going to give him credit for that, I'm not sure. It seems everything that he's achieved is always been someone's made an excuse or overshadowed it. What the guy's actually achieved is remarkable. Still is one of the very few riders that I go out, watch around the track and go, how is that possible? You go and stand on the corner and, everyone's opening, apex knee over corner. Casey's opening the gas 2 bike lengths before the apex, spinning the rear tyre. So when he actually gets to the apex, he's not even facing the normal line. He's turned the thing, so he's nearly riding over the inside curb and just with the thing wide open. He is making that bike work, and he is the reason why he's won all the titles, and it's pretty impressive.
Manx Radio TT 365, the best biking station in the world.